Welcome to the Tank Perry Show. I'm your man, Tank. Together we'll explore the landscape of the retail automotive industry.
Well, and you touched on something that's pretty major. So tell me, like, as a business personality, as an African American, as a father, when you see the ever-changing internet, right, and how fast it's going and the doors it's opening, do you feel like that's giving you different or giving others a different avenue where before you had to knock on somebody's door and go, hey, can I come in? Do you think that the internet helps, hurts, or does a little bit of both?
I think it helps tremendously because with what from a dealership perspective, we can reach that guy who's having a hard time finding a 2014 Shelby GT 350. He's having a hard time finding that car in Tennessee. With the internet, you're able to reach those customers. And so from a dealership perspective, it broadens your base and being able to create the logistics to get that car to that customer. From an overall marketing standpoint, what I'm trying to do with Invictus, I think it helps as well because now I don't have to market sitting in their showroom or sitting in an office within those four walls of that business. I can do it remotely. I can get their story out there remotely. So I think the internet helps. I think it's, again, from anywhere from a dealership GM to a small time garage, the internet is the advantage that so many of us are going to have. I mean, I don't know, you figure in the last 30 years compared to the next 30 years, like there will never be a time in the history of man will there be such strides in technology. I mean, just think about some of the stuff that's coming about. I mean, the electric vehicles and the internet, just everything you can do from your phone. I mean, what year did you start the car business?
1991.
1991, and you were talking about some of the computers and stuff like that, the technology that you used back then compared to how it is now is completely different. I mean, you got a cell phone in your pocket every day that's more powerful than the computers you had on your desk at that time.
Oh, absolutely.
So the internet's a game changer, and it's only going to help all of us in the long run.
No, I think that you're right because in those days I had a bag phone that worked sometimes.
Yeah.
I had two beepers, the one from the dealership and the one that was personal, right? And that's how I communicated, like, all the time. And then, but in 1985, of course, the military released the technology to the civilian world because when I was in the military before then, and some special assignments, we had a lot of that equipment. And so you watch the insertion of that, and it's an explosion, right? So I'll tell you a funny story. So I'm running this dealership in Texas, fairly large dealership, and someone walks into the door with a invoice to one of our vehicles, and they walk into my office and go, boss, like, yeah, they have an invoice to our vehicle. We mean they have an invoice. Who gave it to them? Who gave the invoice? They're like, no. We didn't give the invoice. They said that their credit union gave them the invoice. Wow. So, Corey, and I was always a nice guy, but I was still a car guy.
Yeah.
I read it, matched it to ours. It was off by maybe $20.
Really?
So I went out and talked to the customer, and here's the best that I could come up with. I explained to him, just like NADA is a suggested guideline, obviously this is a suggested guideline as well, but I can tell you one thing. This paper does not sell cars, and I balled it up. Little did I know, in the ensuing weeks, we would be overrun with invoices and have to begin to change our business based on the fact it was coming across the internet and the people who were more privilege or have the availability or accessibility, we're pulling those things left and right. And so that's just a little story about that transition from dot matrix, being a programmer and communicating with the factory, to all of a sudden people communicating with you through the factory.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, there's never been a more savvy consumer in the automotive or anything, really.
No, you're exactly right. You're more of a guy that is a glue guy that understands the real need that customers need. Is that fairly accurate?
And honestly, I don't think that's for me. I just don't think, and God bless the